I can't believe it's already June of 2024. Let's see what records of the month we got to start the summer from Vinyl Me Please. I've said numerous times before in these videos why I started making this series, but seriously, it is very cool when you get an actual record or two every single month, especially when you forget about them coming, or if you ordered other records that you bundled into your bundle and forgot that you ordered those, and then you open your package and you get even more records that you forgot about. Just a reminder, if you want to get a discount on your membership, use the codes in the description below, just like this guy did, and saved himself some cash on getting some awesome records every month. Thank you to all the people who do use those codes. It does help me out as well. I get a little bit of a discount also, so we all get to score on some awesome vinyl, and Vinyl Me Please wins. It's a win for everybody, so definitely use those codes if you're interested in signing up for a year membership. This month we have 3 records in the box, 2 of which are records of the month, and the 2 records of the month have very non-traditional jackets, or at least they did when they were first released, and we'll get more into that as we get into those records. And finally, the 3rd record that was in the batch was a Throwback Thursday that I was able to bundle into this month's package, and it is the first Throwback Thursday that I have ever been able to get on Vinyl Me Please. So let's take a minute. What exactly is Throwback Thursday? If you're a Vinyl Me Please subscriber, or even if you're not, I think if you're just signed up to the newsletter, you get notified that they have what's called Throwback Thursday. And what they'll do is they'll have either rare records of the month or maybe some leftover exclusives, or they'll do a very short run press of some exclusives, and they put them out for very, very limited copies in this Throwback Thursday email. You get notified about the email on like Tuesday of the same week, and then you really have to camp out onto the site to get it. So I've tried numerous times to get Throwback Thursday releases, and every single time I've completely failed. The best way to get them is to find out exactly what time they're going. That's the first thing. They will change the time zone on it. In this case, it was 10 o'clock Mountain Time, which for me is 12 p.m. in the afternoon. So you gotta set an alarm for that. Set an alarm for like 3 minutes before that.
Bow to your sensei. Bow to your sensei!
Go through the link of the mailer that they give you for the Throwback Thursday and keep hitting refresh on it until you get a chance to get the records. Now, the other thing I'll say is make sure you pick one record that you're going for Throwback Thursday. You will not be able to get more than one record. You will not have time to throw more than one record into that cart. Trust me, I've tried it on numerous times. The very first Throwback Thursday I ever tried, I tried 4 records. I actually got them into my cart, and then as I was checking out and putting my information in, boom, all 4 of them were just going away from my cart, and I lost all 4 of them. Every time I've gone to get a Throwback Thursday with more than one of them, it always results in failure. So pick the one that you want, find that record, add it to your cart. You're probably gonna have to refresh a couple times. There's probably gonna be some other people on the website there fighting you. Get it into the cart and then check out as soon as you can. Now, if you wanna try to go back at that point and see if you can get a number 2 at that point, good luck, but I'm telling you, you're probably not gonna be able to get one. I have noticed that sometimes the Throwback Thursdays are kind of theme oriented, and in past ones I've seen genres that I haven't really been interested in, so I wasn't really interested in the entire effort to try to get one that month. But this one that came out most recently, I was extremely interested in. I think it was a soul or funk groove oriented one, because there were so many records on here that I wanted. Specifically one that I didn't get, which was the Kool and the Gang, which is a like brown marble copy, the Kool and the Gang self-titled record. Totally awesome record that I missed out on this time around for Throwback Thursday. I'll probably end up trying to get it on Discogs or something like that. But what did I get for Throwback Thursday? I got Sam and Dave, Hold On, I'm Comin', and I am so extremely excited to have gotten this on the Throwback Thursday. First of all, this came out with the Story of Stax Records, which I think came out in like 2017 or 2018-ish. It's a Vinyl Me Please anthology. It's one of their very first anthologies, but it's out of print at this point. They only released 1,000 of them. They have started to release certain records from the anthology sets, and this is one of the ones. I was also able to get, just shopping on the website prior to this, Eddie Floyd's Never Found Me a Girl, which is also from this set. And if you go onto Discogs, they actually have this listed as the Vinyl Me Please anthology series. So they do have them listed as the individual titles if they break them up this way. And I guess Vinyl Me Please has put them out there as like the anthology series instead of it being just the anthology box set. This is an amazing repress of a great album. The jacket here is a beautiful tip-on jacket, and all the colors and everything are on the original. This is probably one of the goofiest covers that I've ever seen of a soul group ever. It's like the two of them randomly just sitting on a cartoon turtle, but very awesome. If you know anything about the background of this cover, I would be very interested. It is one of the silliest looking covers ever, and I'm not sure why they would agree to do this, but if there is some kind of cool story about it, definitely let me know in the comments below. This is a AAA lacquer from the original master tapes cut by Ryan Smith at Sterling Sound, and it also has the original Stax light blue label on it as well. This originally came out in 1966, and this sounds absolutely fantastic. It's in mono, so it's got that awesome punchy Stax mono feel to it with the awesome snappy drums and just great vocals. It sounds amazing. This record sounds great. It's totally silent. The record's totally flat, you know, flawless, no scratches or anything on it. I would definitely consider this audiophile quality, and it's great because we don't always get audiophile soul stuff, so it's really awesome to have this from Vinyl Me Please. If you do get a chance, check out their Throwback Thursdays again to see if you can get this one. If you get a chance to get it on Discogs, good luck. It is very hard to find on Discogs. I've been looking for this for probably almost a year now since I figured out that they started releasing these individually from the box set, so keep your eye out on these. I'm definitely looking for the William Bell and the Raw Blues from Johnny Taylor and a couple of the other ones. I should probably just get the entire box set. Maybe I will someday. You should subscribe to the channel to see if I do get that box set, and then maybe we'll talk about it on a future video. So the next record we have here, I went with the rock record this month, and this is T.Rex, the self-titled T.Rex album from 1970. Now, this group actually had 3 previous records under the name Tyrannosaurus Rex, but this is the first record under the name T.Rex. Mark Bolan, who's basically the lead of the project here, had another group called Tyrannosaurus Rex, and then they became T.Rex in 1970, and that's kind of where they really took off. So this is kind of their first album. This is on AAA lacquer cut from Ryan K. Smith at Sterling Sound, and this is on Jewel of Frost green vinyl. I love Vinyl Me Please naming the awesome vinyl of these with the original reprise label for this. Another cool thing here, I mentioned earlier in the video that the 2 records of the month this month had awesome, weird jackets in the 70s. This jacket isn't just like a normal gatefold jacket. It actually opens only partially from the photo side here, and you slide the LP on the inside of the jacket here. And I'm sure if you're trying to get these nowadays, they're probably not in very good shape. I'm sure most of these covers did not hold up well. Jackets that are like this don't usually hold up very well from the 70s, so it's pretty awesome that we have them this way, but it is kind of annoying, so I usually just keep the vinyl in the back here so I don't even have to deal with it at all. But just so you know, it is a little bit touchy, and you could actually rip it if you're not careful with it. And I'm sure that a lot of these were ripped in the 70s, which is why it's awesome to get it in this repress here in this beautiful, beautiful cover. This also has a listening notes booklet from Jason Diamond, which has provided a lot of great background information about Mark Bolan and on the group for me, because I am not too familiar with T.Rex at all. I don't have any of their albums. This is the first album I have ever gotten of theirs. I learned a lot from this booklet, like how T.Rex is kind of credited with like starting the glam rock scene, which is kind of odd, and I'm not really into a lot of glam rock stuff, but this is pretty cool, and it's cool to see like the beginning stages of those kind of things. So usually when things start out, like even in the early days of disco then became something crazy, but in the early days of it, it's really cool. So the early days of glam rock here. Another thing I learned from the booklet here is, tragically, Mark Bolan passed away in a car accident when his girlfriend was driving the car in 1977. So that's probably one of the reasons why I don't know too much about T.Rex. They were kind of like cut short in their prime right when they were like hitting the big time in 1977. It was only 7 years after this record came out. I will admit that I kind of bought this because of a little bit of FOMO. I was shopping on Vinyl Me Please and checking out what I wanted to get for the month, and I noticed that the rock record of the month was already sold out, T.Rex. And I was like, oh man, does that mean like it's really good and this is awesome? Like am I totally missing missing out here. So I joined the wait list on it, which you can do if you're a member. And luckily I got notified that I was able to sign up for it, and I added it as an add-on track. Now, my membership is only signed up for one track of the month, and I'll flip around usually between the Essentials track or the Classics track. And this month I got the Essentials track, as we'll see in a little bit. But you can also do add-ons with Vinyl Me Please, and basically it's just adding on another record of the month that you can get that month. And I added on this one, and if you're a member, you get a little bit of a cheaper price for doing an add-on that way. So how does this sound? I mean, from a pressing standpoint, it sounds phenomenal, as all of these Ryan K. Smith pressings do. It's AAA lacquer cut, so it sounds great. The vinyl is very silent. The music itself here is very interesting. It's almost very indie rock sounding. And if I just pulled this out of the thin air in the year 2024 and played this for you and didn't tell you it was from 1970, you might actually think that this was kind of like just some new indie rock band. I mean, I almost feel like it's a little bit ahead of its time in that sense. I find it interesting too that these guys are labeled as like starting glam rock. I guess that's just because from their look or from maybe some of the other later records that came out, but this definitely does not sound like what I would classify as glam rock at all. If I listened to this music and didn't see anything at all, I would not think that this is a glam rock band. It's very stripped down. There's just two musicians playing on it mostly the whole time, and there's a lot of early influences that I could feel for David Bowie and for things like that to come later on in the 70s. But like I said, it almost has like an indie vibe to it. So if you like indie rock stuff, you'll probably like this a lot. For the Essentials record of June of 2024, we have Isaac Hayes' Black Moses, originally released in 1971. This also, like Sam and Dave, came out on Stax Records. This is AAA lacquer cut from the original master tapes from, you guessed it, Ryan K. Smith at Sterling Sound. This is actually on the Stax imprint Enterprise Records. It has the original Enterprise labels on this, which is very cool. This comes on a 2LP. The color is just listed as blue on the website. It is more of a bluish grayish color. The website picture of it is actually very much gray. As you can see here, it's more of like a bluish gray, but it's just listed as blue. The pictures on the website are not always accurate, and they say that all the time, so the vinyl might be slightly different from the picture that you're seeing online when they're showing it to you. This lists as a double gatefold jacket, listed as reverse board, and I'm not really sure what reverse board means. I've never heard that before, but I can say that the original jacket for this, like the T.Rex, was released in a very cool way. The original jacket for this was actually crazy. It folded out just like this. Now, they don't give you the jacket this way from Vinyl Me Please, but they give you this awesome fold-out poster, which is very nice and very cool. It's also very hard to fold back up. You gotta be careful with it because you don't want to rip it, because then you'll have a ripped poster for the rest of your life and you'll hate yourself for it. So yeah. So it folds back up like this, very nice. So like I mentioned, this is the other odd cover from the 1970s that came out in the Records of the Month this month. This has a listening notes booklet by Andrew Winisdorfer. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that name, but the booklet is very well written and also gives a lot of great context and background to what's going on when this album was coming out. This album came out in a lot of turbulent times, and there was a lot of great music also coming out when this album released. I really like these booklets because they really help paint a picture of what you're hearing from a record that came out over 50 years ago. What's crazy is Isaac Hayes recorded 5 amazing masterpiece records within 28 months, this being one of them, which came at number 10 on the overall Billboard charts, and another one of those 5 records was Hot Buttered Soul. And another one of those 5 records was Shaft, and that actually went to number 1 on the Billboard charts. So the guy was putting out so much amazing music in a 28-month span between 1969 and 1971. This is probably his most critically acclaimed record next to Shaft, which is more of an instrumental soundtrack record for that movie. But this record is extremely personal. A couple of the contributors on here, Curtis Mayfield, he wrote a couple of the tracks on this. There's There's also a couple of Burt Bacharach covers as well, just like Walk On By from Hot Buttered Soul. One of the best tracks on this record is Never Gonna Give You Up, which is actually a Gamble and Huff tune. And this is awesome because this is 1971. So this is like pre the Philly International Records stuff with them when they were still like just writing for R&B artists and everything. They actually write another song that's on this record too. And both of those songs, you can really tell like the Philly sound is like emerging there. There's a lot of the horns and a lot of the strings, a lot of the grand production with it. Another great thing about this record, the backing vocalists on this are simply listed as Hot, Buttered, and Soul, if that gives you an idea of the kind of music that we're getting into here. Now, that being said, I don't like classifying Isaac Hayes or Barry White for that matter. I hate it when people just like lump them into like, you know, 70s swinger music or like porno music and stuff like that. I mean, like, sure, it's cool. It's love-making music. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, this is like music that you would want to like, you know, snuggle up with your lady with or your significant other with or whatever. But there is some really awesome stuff here. You can't just relegate it to being that. Like the musicianship that's on here, the singers, and just the message that's being said here. There's a lot of really great stuff. I think one of the sickest tracks on here is Part-Time Love, which was originally written for Little Johnny Taylor. The track is just so thick and the backing group is so awesome. What's really cool too is the backing group that's on this for two of the tracks are the Bar-Kays, but for the rest of the songs is the Isaac Hayes Movement. The name the Isaac Hayes Movement was actually coined by Marvell Thomas, and it was kind of like going after or like in an homage to the Jimi Hendrix Experience. This was the Isaac Hayes Movement. I've seen this listed a lot, and I've seen a lot of his music out there listed a lot as progressive soul, and I kind of like that name because it's much different than the soul music that was coming out in the late 60s or mid 60s right before this stuff, which I'm very much into, but this is much more on a grand scale. They were trying bigger ideas here. They were talking about different things, and a lot of the stuff here where he's rapping, where he just like is just going off and riffing into the microphone, he's talking about experiences and he's talking about life, and there's a lot of just really good messages on these records, and especially this record. Unfortunately, we do have to report here that the two records of this were edge warped as I got them from Vinyl Me Please, and I did have to request 2 copies, which I can say are actually already in the mail coming to me. I just got these like 2 days ago. I placed the order for the replacement ones, and within 24 hours got a shipment notification that they were already on their way to me. The thing that I'm a little concerned about though is that the other ones might come in a little bit warped as well. The records are getting warped because they're getting pressed so far into these jackets, and I even noticed it when I was putting the booklet back into the jacket that it's pinching the record on the inside of the jacket here, and it's probably because the jacket gatefold is so thick. It's like thick and thin at the same time. It's kind of that matte material. It's not like a really stout and thick jacket like you would get from like Tone Poet or something like that, but it is a nice jacket. However, I think that because the vinyl is getting jammed in there, that's what's causing it to get bent, because it's definitely just an edge warp. It wasn't an entire dish warp on it. So if you're listening, Vinyl Me Please, you might want to take note on how these are getting packaged, or on the future, if other records are coming back like that, if they're coming pinched in from the inside corner here, that might be why they're getting a lot of warps. But like I said, I do have a replacement coming, and I'm grateful for that, and I am grateful for their customer service, as you've seen in my previous video. So I think the records of the month this month were a pretty good hit. I got a new rock record that I never really heard that much. I got an awesome soul record classic that I've wanted for a long time with Black Moses, and I was very happy to get that Throwback Thursday, Sam and Dave as well, so that was just another added bonus. So far this year, the 6 months from Vinyl Me Please has been pretty awesome with the offerings that I've been getting from them. And this month in particular, these are not records that I'm always seeing all the time out there, constantly getting repressed all the time. So we have some very cool ones coming up for exclusives for next month, so be sure to check out for that. I don't know what the records are coming up for July, August, or September, but we're gonna find out about that very soon, and I'm very excited to find out about those. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you can see what we get in July, August, and September. And if you like this video, definitely go check out some of the others on some of the other Vinyl Me Please things that we have on the channel here as well. I'm gonna go listen to Isaac Hayes' Black Moses and chill. I will see you on the next one.